is the only period which produced stone art that shows someone giving a flower to another. These are the daughters of Nefertiti. I draw your attention to the shapes of their heads. Here is a skull from Peru in South America. And here is another one. We mentioned earlier the beautiful lenticular clouds that routinely form over particular mountains because of the effects the scalar energy of these mountains cause within the surrounding scalar energy field. Like this formation over Mount Rainier in Washington State, and this one over St. Helens volcano, and this one over Mauna Loa volcano in Hawaii, and this absolutely magnificent one over the volcanic mountain Kaituna in New Zealand. Three things I want to point out. One is that these lenticular clouds only occur over volcanoes, active or extinct. So we see that energy gateways exist through volcanoes, stargates if you wish to call them by another name. The second is that the word pyramid is composed of the Greek words para, meaning fire, and medos, meaning measures. The third is that pyramids are extremely similar in shape to volcanic cones. Now here is an interesting picture. It is a Kirlian photograph that was taken of a scale model of the Great Pyramid at Giza, with a Tesla coil placed at its center. The double helix that can be seen emanating from the top of the pyramid has laser-like coherence. Could it be that our ancient ancestors were masters of scalar energy? Humanity is obviously no stranger to transition. Some great transition brought a disconnect between the harmonious and loving pyramid-building era and our present era that is based on fear. We are currently facing into another era change, and it probably will be as dramatic as the era change previous. Mathematicians refer to the trip point when exponential growth breaks down as the point of singularity. As we can see through many metrics, we are fast approaching this limit point. Volcano activity is on an exponential rise, as is world earthquake activity, as is world population growth and economic growth. And economic growth, incidentally, has now bumped into its point of singularity, and the balloon bursts. Whatever other factors may contribute to the coming change, it appears that the galactic alignment of 2012 will be the actual change-over point of phase and time reversal. Here I would like to briefly revisit the ancient flower of life symbol that we saw contained only two shapes, circles and hexagons, and to point out why it is that these two shapes, the circle and the hexagon, are the only two basic shapes that show themselves to us in scalar wave energy phenomena. As we see in this symbol, the two shapes cause each other, and so neither one can exist without the other. This is also how it is in scalar energy. we have two waves that cause each other, and by their phase-locked resonance with each other, they create all things. It is interesting to note that the circle is the shape that results when you have maximum area enclosed by a minimum perimeter, whereas a hexagon, on the other hand, is the shape that results when you have a minimum area enclosed by a maximum perimeter. They are the simultaneous expressions of expansion and contraction. The circle is expansion, and the hexagon is contraction. We can visualize these expansions and contractions beautifully by tracing the colored spiraling lines. The exponential increase that we are witnessing in disasters and crises around the world, even the economic collapse and global warming, are all associated with this cyclical phase and time reversal event. We cannot say that expansion is better than contraction, or that one is more important than the other. Simply, neither one could exist without the other. Unquestionably, we have reached the end of the expansion era, and the contraction era is beginning. Note that in astrological terms, we have reached the end of the age of Pisces, and we are entering the age of Aquarius. During these times of confusion, which are a natural consequence of this change, where everything we have known as familiar and stable must fall away, it is important for us to realize that we are not isolated beings. We are existing in our physical form for a purpose that cannot be understood through an earth-bound human body-mind. We do know that we are all waves that are frequency resonance locked with each other and with